Welcome to True Life Lessons. Today we explore the story of Daniel, a young man possessing a remarkable speaking gift. Daniel was known throughout his small village for his unmatched eloquence, always captivating the local crowds with his grand, vivid visions. He would stand in the bustling town square, effortlessly painting glorious pictures of a bright future using only his powerful words. Everyone loved listening to him speak because his passionate voice made them feel incredibly hopeful about their community and their shared destiny. He spoke passionately about planting a magnificent community garden that would provide fresh vegetables for every single family in the village. He also promised to repair the dangerous old wooden bridge that connected their isolated village to the prosperous neighboring market town. Daniel even drafted a brilliant plan to build a modern school where all the local children could receive a truly excellent education. The villagers nodded in agreement, completely mesmerized by his beautiful descriptions of the wonderful improvements that were supposedly coming very soon. However, as the long months slowly passed by, absolutely nothing changed in the village despite all of his grand and inspiring speeches. The community garden remained an empty dirt lot, completely overgrown with ugly weeds and completely devoid of any beautiful blooming flowers whatsoever. The old bridge continued to rot dangerously, making it incredibly difficult for anyone to cross the fast river during the storms. The children still lacked a proper place to study, forced to read worn books under the shade of a large tree. Daniel was suffering from a common human illusion, believing that merely talking about his big goals was somehow equivalent to achieving them. Every time he described his wonderful plans, his brain released a satisfying dopamine rush, making him feel incredibly successful instantly. This false sense of accomplishment completely drained his motivation to take any real physical action toward making those beautiful dreams reality. One sunny afternoon, Daniel visited the workshop of an old craftsman named Thomas, who was quietly building sturdy furniture from rough wood. Daniel immediately began boasting loudly about his incredible vision for a massive new carpentry workshop that would revolutionize the entire town. He talked endlessly about advanced tools he would buy and the large number of skilled apprentices he would eventually train. Thomas continued sanding a heavy wooden table, completely ignoring the enthusiastic young man who was pacing back and forth so energetically. Finally, the wise old man stopped working, wiped the thick dust from his calloused hands, and looked directly into Daniel's eager eyes. With a calm voice, Thomas asked a simple question that would forever change the course of the young man's life. "Tell me, young man, are you currently busy talking about your grand future, or are you actually busy building it right now?" Those heavy words struck Daniel like a sudden bolt of lightning, leaving him standing there completely speechless and deeply ashamed inside. He suddenly realized that his endless talking was merely a comfortable shield protecting him from the harsh reality of actual hard work. He felt profound embarrassment as he finally understood that he had absolutely nothing tangible to show for his entire adult life. That night, Daniel sat alone in his quiet room, staring at blank walls and reflecting on his past empty promises. He made a firm decision to completely stop speaking about his goals and start taking immediate, silent action the very next morning. The following day, instead of heading to the busy town square to deliver another speech, Daniel walked straight toward the river. He carried a heavy box of rusty tools and a stack of fresh wooden planks he had purchased with his own savings. He stood before the dangerous, decaying bridge, feeling incredibly overwhelmed by the massive scale of the difficult physical task ahead. Without saying a single word to anyone, he took off his coat, grabbed a heavy hammer, and began removing rotten boards. The physical work was incredibly exhausting, and his soft hands quickly became covered in painful blisters after just a few short hours. His muscles ached terribly, and the hot sun beat down relentlessly on his tired back, testing his newly found determination. Despite the intense pain and immense fatigue, he refused to quit, slowly securing one fresh wooden plank firmly into its proper place. The next morning, he returned to the riverbank before sunrise, working entirely in silence, while the entire village still slept peacefully. Days turned into weeks, and villagers began to notice the strange absence of their favorite charismatic speaker from town square. Curious about his sudden disappearance, some locals eventually wandered down toward the rushing river to see what he was actually doing. They were absolutely astonished to find Daniel covered in dark mud and thick sweat, silently hammering long iron nails into thick wood. He did not stop to deliver a grand speech or boast about his progress. He simply kept working very hard. Seeing his genuine dedication and bleeding hands, a strong local farmer silently grabbed a spare hammer and stepped forward to help. The next day, 2 more villagers arrived early with extra tools and fresh building materials, inspired by Daniel's quiet but powerful actions. Soon, an entire team of dedicated volunteers was working together efficiently on the old bridge, completely transforming the dangerous crossing. No one wasted time talking about their glorious future plans. They simply focused entirely on the physical task directly before them. The rhythmic sound of heavy hammers striking solid wood echoed loudly through the valley, replacing empty words that once filled the air. Daniel smiled warmly as he watched his community unite, realizing that shared silent labor creates stronger bonds than beautiful speeches. After several weeks of intense, grueling work, the magnificent new bridge was finally completed, standing strong and secure over the river. The entire village gathered around the incredibly sturdy wooden structure, feeling deeply proud of what they had physically accomplished together through teamwork. Thomas the craftsman attended the quiet celebration, observing the newly built bridge with a gentle, knowing smile on his face. He walked slowly toward Daniel, who was quietly wiping grease from his scarred hands, and patted him firmly on the shoulder. "You finally learned the truth," Thomas said softly. "A small action today holds vastly more value than 1,000 perfect future plans." Daniel nodded silently, looking at his rough, calloused hands, realizing they were far more beautiful than any words he spoke. The village no longer needed inspiring speeches to motivate them. They had discovered the immense, unstoppable power of taking collective action. Over the next few months, Daniel and his dedicated friends began quietly transforming the neglected community garden into a thriving green space. They planted rows of healthy vegetables and bright flowers, working diligently together until the barren dirt became a vibrant paradise. Next, they focused their energy on the old ruined building, slowly turning it into a bright, welcoming school for local children. Daniel never delivered another grand speech from the town square, yet his quiet, consistent influence completely reshaped the future of his village. He became a living example of true leadership, proving that actions always speak much louder than the most beautiful words. We often fall into the exact same dangerous trap as Daniel, endlessly discussing our grand ambitions while entirely avoiding hard work. Talking about our dreams provides a quick, satisfying burst of fake accomplishment, tricking our brains into believing we have achieved something significant. We buy expensive planners, design beautiful vision boards, and tell everyone our goals, yet we frequently fail to start working. The harsh reality is that the world absolutely does not need any more eloquent dreamers who merely describe beautiful future paradises. What the world truly desperately needs is dedicated builders who are willing to wake up early, face the struggle, and do the work. Do not wait until you possess a flawless master plan or perfectly ideal conditions before you finally decide to begin. Start today with whatever limited tools you currently have, even if your initial efforts seem incredibly messy, uncoordinated, and completely insignificant. It is the tiny, imperfect actions consistently repeated every single day that ultimately build magnificent bridges connecting us to our greatest dreams. Remember that a small, poorly executed task completed today is infinitely more valuable than a brilliant masterpiece planned for tomorrow. True success is never found in the loud applause of an impressed crowd, but in the quiet satisfaction of hard work. When you finally stop talking and start doing, you will be absolutely amazed by how quickly your entire reality begins to transform. Let Daniel's powerful story serve as a constant reminder to put down your megaphone and pick up your hammer today. Next time you feel the strong urge to announce your big goals, pause for a crucial second and choose silent execution. Your dedicated actions will always speak with far greater clarity, immense power, and undeniable truth than your carefully chosen words ever could. Are you currently busy talking about your beautiful life, or are you actually busy building it with your bare hands? We sincerely hope this meaningful story inspires you to take that difficult first step toward achieving your deepest personal dreams today. If you found deep value in this powerful lesson, Please remember to share it with someone who might truly need this motivation. Thank you so much for watching True Life Lessons, and we will definitely see you in our next inspiring video.